What's up, grinders? It's another Grinds Gaming Bite. Welcome back. We got the topic today. Oh my. I was not going to close out this week after that crazy stuff that happened over at G4. But actually, you know, there's a lot of things to talk about and you know, a lot of reactions going on. But there's one part of this rant that occurred that I really want to dive into and talk about how this is just, do we need this? Who asked for this? Join me. Let's go. So, what's up, everybody? We gotta talk here. As you know, G4TV, which was originally on TV, went off of the air and came back with a YouTube channel with their production and everything like that. But they came back with a new image because, you know, G4 was really definitely towards the end of its heyday, really going around the Spike TV route, like being very targeted to their male demographic, per se, to be nice. And so that thing didn't work out. And one of the shows on there was X-Play, which was where they did game reviews and things like that, covered E3 and things like that. Well, they brought it back, right? And they brought it back with a panel of people. But you heard it on this channel before. We went over the previous video that happened on that G4 when they were speaking about the Xbox preview, and Frost, which is one of the members of the panel there, dropped some crazy takes, some takes that, you know, nobody kind of counted or even discussed. Like, they really just let it go. And even Adam Sessler, we paused it on his face, like, who farted face. Like, whoa, you know, she was like, they're Sony's in the dust. They're gonna get smoked out. And he's like, you can get the heat, you can get the target, yeah, you'll do this. Like, I got the video, we got it right here. But I just want to bring this up because this is not really the thing that we'll talk about it. This is really what the video is.
Okay, yeah, Starfield's great, Obsidian, amazing. I actually think Xbox is going to have a hell of a 2022. I think they're going to absolutely smoke Sony until Sony get their act together right now. I think the PlayStation is...
Oh, yeah, forgot the punchline.
Kind of dead man walking.
Oh, wow. You get to have the emails from the Sony Defense Force, not me. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. I just like pausing it right here.
Together right now. I think the PlayStation...
Which I think is pretty interesting how, like, I don't know if this was scripted or rehearsed or whatever like that, but Adam, you know, they made sure to get his reaction to the commentary of what she was saying in this thing. Now, we discussed this on the Gaming Grindhouse.
Kind of man walking.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. So, like, this was just one of the takes here, right?
Obsidian, amazing. I actually think Xbox is going to have a hell of a 2022. I think they're going to absolutely smoke Sony until Sony get their act together right now. I think the PlayStation is...
Dude, they did not stop. Dead man walking. But the thing is like, this was just out there, and she talked about things as exclusive game, as Hogwarts being exclusive, that, like, just misinformation, right? But this kind of caused a whole bunch of crazy stuff. We talked about in the Gaming Grindhouse. Adam was like, oh, like this. But then she went on, and this week what happened was that she had a video on X-Play and went on a kind of a talking about sexism in games, and had a lot to say about that. But also, one of the things that she kind of put out there was how they review their games at X-Play. And that's the thing that grinding my gears. I'm like, whoa. Because listen, what she said in her video, and I'm going to go into that now. what she said in response. Now, the reason why I brought this up is because this is a little bit of history here. But again, I don't think this, and I want to be clear here, I don't think this really directly led to the outburst or what the speech that she had. But I definitely think when you talk about credibility, when you talk about something trying to be established and establishing them, we know who Adam Sessler is. These other people, we're not very familiar with them. And when they're sitting on, and even the wrestler, like I know he does, he does some great content and stuff like that. But really, sitting on a panel talking about games, he talks about games. Like we know him, we know him from the Bootios, Bootios. But the other people, we still gotta get to know them and their takes and things like that. And the way this was handled, I think was poorly done. I also think too here that it was very just kind of let it go. And there were things that's being said. But again, I don't think this was what she did was a response to this. That was totally different. But she never came back to kind of be like, oh, yeah, there were some things that I said and, it was unfortunate and, things that, yeah, that's not exclusive. But I still prefer Xbox. And I think Xbox is going to be awesome. Even though she don't own the console, she just loves Game Pass on PC. But she could just be like, yeah, you know what? That's her opinion. That's fine. But for nobody to address that and just let it go, that's weird, right? And, especially when you want to try to gain credibility and bring back X-Play and introduce these new participants, these new panel members. But let's get into what happened, right? So that occurred, and things went crazy and things like that. But then they, and this was another part of that video here. We got it right here. Well, that don't want to play. But here is what...
Sexism in gaming. In joining G4...
This video plays here.
This is not where I thought we were going, but I'm here.
I had no idea.
I'm listening.
Yeah. In joining G4, I was ecstatic to be part of something that I grew up watching as a child. But every time G4 is brought up in various channels, even in this YouTube channel, we have the chat in front of us. I can see you. Without a doubt, there will be backlash because I'm not as bangable as the previous host. It's somehow...
Talk to him, Frost!
It has somehow been expected that you can talk about how much you jerked off to women as a compliment.
That
It's
shit
not
weird.
a compliment.
It's weird.
It's dehumanizing and it's weird. Women do not exist to be nice on the eyes for you. Morgan Webb, Olivia Munn did not exist to be nice on the eyes for you.
Yeah, so there's all that was the part there. While I agree with the messaging, I think that all the stuff that they say about personal attacks and looks and things like that are wrong. And there's just wrong people on the internet that don't belong. And that's gonna happen, especially when you put yourself out there and things like that. Like there's just rude ass people. Now, first off, I don't know why they don't have moderators to kind of not show that stuff and block those comments and things like that. If they have such a huge staff that she mentions now, I don't know why they're allowing that to occur and even allow the host to see that stuff. Now, apparently she's going to get it from other ways, and that's wrong. And I condone that. I think that's wrong. But the thing about the whole, the looks and all that other stuff, like I said before, G4 kind of went down the, a deep path and deep alley, and everybody was hired for looks. They even had the Sarah Underwood, who was a former Playboy model, giving the news and things like that. So like the old G4 really did have those things that were trying to target to a male, adolescent and younger audience, trying to get that those viewerships like that. And apparently this, they're not doing that now, and they're trying to change it. So maybe that's why this occurred. Just be like, this is not your old G4. And but I just think that the way they did it could have been handled a little differently and kind of definitely put an even more kind of focus on her again, which I don't think it was the right way of doing it. I think the message needed to be sent out there, but I don't think this was the proper way of just doing a rant like this and having her and everybody just clap and applaud. I don't know, like, I don't know if and it seems like she's reading from her prompter, and it seems like this was kind of like just waiting. And I was saying this earlier, like, I feel like, she was just waiting for this speech and the writers and stuff to be like, okay, when we're going to drop this, to kind of let them know we're a different G4. All right. So that's the whole thing on that part. Again, I don't think that it's related to, the commentary about that stuff. I just think, credibility wise across everybody of all these people was kind of in question after some of the comments they made were just not correct. And nobody was there to correct them, and you even see from their faces, like, they could be like saying, like, oh, you know what, that's not really right, but they don't want to kind of make that conflict, I guess, on the show. I don't know, but this is where this part is what really we need to talk about.
Hey, she cooking, y'all.
And that's just obvious sexism. You don't need to explicitly objectify women or declare that you hate women to be sexist. Just go ahead and check out Thorne's latest meltdown on Twitter for some spark notes. Now, here at XPlay, our reviews are written and produced by a team of people. There are too many games for one person to shoulder the burden. So we divide and conquer. And when we use language like we or I, that's the reviewer. That's coming from the mouth and experience of the reviewer reading that review. And that's not to say that Gerard, TBH, Adam, or myself don't contribute to the reviews. We absolutely do. But it'll always be in varying degrees and take a whole team behind us. That's why we're XPlay and not Adam Play. We have done the experiment and controlled for the variables. Adam will read a script written by the same writer that I will read the other half of the script for, but I'll be the one flamed. And yeah, it also happens to Gerard and TBH, but that doesn't discount the sexism of how it happens to me when it does. Both things can be true, that there is a general hatred of any change that isn't Adam, and that I'll receive special flame just for being a woman. And I wish I could turn the camera around so that you could see the incredible team that make XPlay. Half of our producers and writers are women. Emily, Abby, Megan, Joe, Jake, Zipper, Gabby. It goes on and on and on. Former writers that are now on ATOS like Vanessa. When you're in our DMs or on those YouTube comments or in Twitch chat right now, those reactionary threads thinking that I'm somehow ruining your current XPlay experience because you can't objectify me how you previously did to Morgan, or that I'm somehow less qualified to speak on something, but you can't quite put your finger on why, even though I'm reading the exact same script as Adam, but you have no problem with he's part of it. You're letting your unconscious biases ruin my day, and you're gatekeeping the gaming space. So maybe for 2022, we be a bit nicer, a bit more self-reflective, and we enjoy the fact that people are working hard to make free content for you. If you don't like it, don't watch it. Peace.
Yeah. So that. Oof. So, yeah. Where to begin? The thing is credibility, right? And we've seen some of the statements that weren't, just incorrect. Like I said, this is trying to be a credible source, or a credible media site, or whatever they want to be. And that's the other question. Like, are they influencers? Are they hosts? Are they reviewers? Are they gamers? Like, what are they? I don't know, and this is what I wanted to discuss or bring up, and definitely open up to the comment section, when you guys check out the video. But my whole thing with this review process, reviewers have been a kind of suspect we've been seeing over the last couple of years, where it seems to be they want easy modes, there's too many games to review. They review them in panels, and I keep hearing when she keeps saying the writers. Well, if the writers are reviewing this and giving you a script, I'd rather hear the experience from the writers who are actually playing the game. Or are they playing the game, or they're giving it to somebody else and somebody's telling them and they're just writing the episode. And my question is do we need this? Who wants this? In today's world, maybe back in the day with old G4, we needed a G4 and X-Play to tell us the reviews, a 3 out of 5, a 4 out of 5. We got so many people now reviewing just in this community alone. Everybody gets their hands on perks and stuff, and you see them and you interact with them directly on Twitter and on YouTube. The actual people who played the game. The gamers who invested in the console and playing the game. Across all Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, you have direct access to the people playing these games and experiencing them and seeing the reviews. Why do we need heads talking from writers who we don't even see on camera for reviewers that we don't even know is reviewing the game? It's reviewed in a Frankenstein aspect. Putting it all together so somebody could get on a channel and read somebody else's experience. And she's upset because it depends on who's reading it, depends on who's getting the smoke. And she thinks she gets extra smoke because she's a woman reading these things. And I'm sure maybe that happens because there are some bad people out there and you know, not really, you know, that see that stuff. But I'm going to go beyond that stuff. I have a problem with writers, collaboration with 6 people because there's too many games to review. That's my problem. Excuse me. What purpose does this channel serve? G4, what purpose is it? I need to sit here for production. I need to see the Christmas trees and the TVs and the lights and the fancy cameras and the high quality couch that they sit on and Adam voning in. Who needs that in today's media frenzy? We have people that we know in the community that just follow they just review games, that get access, review games. They're gamers. They play the games. They have 200 people. They have 100 people. They got thousands of followers. They got 20,000 people all over Xbox, PlayStation. That's where you want to get your insight from. ACG is another reviewer. Like, why we have ACG? Why do we need X-Play? That's my problem. Why do we need this? Who needs talking heads reading me a script? Why? I liked Adam better on Revision when he did Revision TV, when they were doing all those little webcasts and things like that. You know, it was entertaining. But again, that was the start of the YouTube channel and the Twitter and all this world that we're building. That was the beginning of that. Now we're in it. And X-Play's trying to find its way back. Well, like I said, this was not handled properly. If you want to add legitimacy, if you want to be something different or something bigger and better and more like productive with this production quality that you have here, doing this and interacting with your audience in such a manner, it's not the right way. There were more professional ways of doing this if you want to maintain this professionalism that you are something that's better than the common YouTuber. And this wasn't the way. You just did basically a rant and told your audience, if you don't like it, get rid of it. Whoever's gonna read, and even she was admitting, I'm reading the review that Adam reads half of it, I read half of it. Why do we need that? I need her reading me a review. I need Adam reading a review from a writer. Why don't you put the writer on camera and have them read the script? All those people that she mentioned, we have all these writers in the behind. Get them on the couch. Let them tell you their experience with the game. I would prefer hear it from the horse's mouth than hear from some talking head like ESPN, like, oh yeah, just read this. Why do I need a mouthpiece? There are people that need a mouthpiece like this. They need to know that what you're talking about, you have no clue about. You just reading from a writer that provided you this to read a script. The speech even looked scripted when she was looking at it. She looked like she was reading this. Like somebody wrote this for her. She wrote it, said, put it on the teleprompter. In this world, in this time and age when when we have direct access to people who are playing games and giving their opinions on whether I should buy a game or not, and I'd rather have that than to watch a video that has somebody reading a script. And she exposed the whole channel. Like, who needs G4? Like I said, separate from the sexist pop, because that's unwarranted. That is wrong. That doesn't make what she said was correct about the exclusives and smoking. That could be her opinion, but when she stated it as fact and was like this, and everybody rolling their eyes going, let's counter that. Nobody wanted to say anything. That's a whole other story. I just brought it up because we talked about it. But when you're talking about how am I not qualified to read this, you basically said why you weren't qualified. Because you are reading a script from somebody else. What makes you qualified? I could read a script. I could read a script right now. I could have said, this is how I'm going to feel when I'm doing this show. No, I don't want to do that because that's not real. This grinds my gears has been how I feel and how I'm going to present. I'm not going to write a script going, well, you're going to be angry at 7 minutes in. You're going to do a rant because you're going to be angry. Be angry. Grindhounds. No. This is how you need emotion. So what makes you qualified? Because you were put in on a couch to read a script. I should believe you just basically devalued the reviews that you guys are going to read because people know that it's not coming from you. And she's like, well, maybe some of us might have parts of it, some experiences, but it's coming from a script. It's right, or the writers are writing it for us. You just basically contradicted yourself because you basically made yourself seem like you're a talking head, that there's so many games to play. Maybe you don't need to play all these games, but maybe you should play these games instead of sitting on the couch. Maybe you should be playing them and writing up a blog and reading your own. Like if you, and especially these people on G4 are new. They're bringing back the legacy ones. It reminds me of Star Wars. Like, here's Han Solo, but here's the new cast. Here's Luke Skywalker for you old folk, but here's the new people. Well, they're doing the same thing here. Here's Adam Sessler. You know him. You know his credibility. Here's some other dudes, but he's like his fame or his credibility is not going to filter down to them. You're going to have to make your own. And coming out and being like, some of those things were incorrect. This, or I'm going to review this and things like that. Instead, she doubled down on the fakeness of G4. And I just think that it was handled poorly. Not that I don't approve of the message. I approve of that message, and that's wrong. And if you are watching this and you're one of those people that go in the comments and say mean things about people, that's wrong. And I don't do that here. I don't go after people. The people have their opinion. That's what they do. I go after the idea, the topics. Maybe the management of big billion-dollar companies. But I don't go after. There's nothing to talk about. Because you don't want that done to you, why do that to somebody else? So if you're that, don't do that. And especially if you're doing that with women and also women to men and all that other stuff. And everything else in between. That's wrong. But when you're trying to say, I want to be credible, and then saying, I'm just reading stuff from a writer and stuff like that, you're not really contributing to being credible. I don't really review the games. I read it from a... So that's the issue that I wanted to bring up. And I basically think that she just threw G4TV under the bus and is going to get some pushback. Now, granted, people might like that stuff and want to watch this, but it just makes me go like, I didn't even watch that much of it because I felt like, it was a little fake. And I don't want, who wants fakeness nowadays, especially when it costs you money? $60, $70 for a game. You want somebody to say, I played this, I recommend it, or I played it, I didn't like certain parts, but you don't want somebody to go like, well, when the character comes in here and this thing, the character development is just not there. And then you get some bogus things like, oh, I think I have it. And yeah, you get some crazy things like this. Where is it? Oh my goodness. Here's our good friends over at IGN. You get little comments like this because you got people. Here it is. 7 out of 10 for God of War on PC. Kratos, look at this thing. Kratos is a gruff and distant father, which may not satisfy everyone looking for a loving game. That sounds like a writer to me. That don't sound like a gamer. A gamer would know what God of War is. The name is in the God of War. Does that sound like they're making tea and crumpets? Does that sound like Farming Simulator? Does that sound like searching for rainbows and petting ponies and kissing babies? The title is God of War. What do you expect? That's why this gets laughed at. Are these writers? Is this a script? Is this somebody who didn't play the game and is having somebody else play it and tell them, and they go, you know what? Kratos is a little rough. He's not the father that you think he... What? It's called God of War. And actually, the whole point of the story is him actually becoming more attached to his son. He's cold with him. He's rough with him. But over time, he gets a little more sensitive and they build a bond. Did you play the game? No. What, did you just look at the cover? Oh, he goes with he has a shirt. No shirt? Oh my goodness. What kind of dad? He should have a suit, a shirt and tie. He's Octodad. What the hell are we talking about here? Is this a writer? Are these the reviews that we're getting nowadays? This is the problem. Is there some talking head? Are you a talking head to do your video? Not satisfy everyone looking for a loving game. What? Who's looking for a loving game? First off, he's bringing the ashes of his dead wife to the top of the mountain as a testament of love, and builds the bond with his son on the way. And yeah, he kicks some ass. He rips off some heads. He fights some goblins. He fights some dragons. But the moral of the story is that he does his wife's dying wish and builds a bond with his son. Almost spiritual. That the mom kind of made the father and son get a bond for the mission of delivering her ashes. That sounds like a romantic to me. But not according to the talking heads, the writers, the 20 people that reviewed the game. No, I think it's funny with this whole reviewing of games. What happens if you get the tutorial and the other person... Halo, you get the beginning and somebody plays the end and they go, oh, that guy never had a name, Bootleg Joel. Bootleg Joel never had a name. It's like, oh, no, he gets it at the end. Oh, well, you played the beginning. I played the end. We met in the middle. All right, send it off to the talking head. Let Adam read our review. I played the last few missions. You played the first few. Write it up. Give it to Adam. Let him read it off the teleprompter. That's the review that you want to go spend $60 and take your valuable time, grinders? And new grinders? And VIP grinders? Is that the time that you want wasted? I don't believe in wasting time. I'll tell you the way it is, how I feel, what it's about. And a lot of other YouTubers do the same thing. So who needs G4? Who needs... They're struggling. The media is struggling. And this is the last point I'm going to lay. The media doesn't know where their place is. They used to be in a throne. People used to run to IGN, tell me if I should buy this game. There's a few GameSpot, IGN. I need to see these reviews. But then what happened? The media lost their way. G4, tell me X-Play. Should I buy this or not? They got dethroned by us, by YouTube, by Twitter, by real gamers. Because we were done with the talking heads to be cool. Oh, wow, look, I'm on TV. Look, they're playing a game on TV. Wow, look at them. Gaming is cool now. Nah. We don't need that anymore. Gaming is mainstream. We don't need the media to tell us what we should do or what we should think. We got our friends. We got our YouTubers. We got influencers. Yes, and they're doing that too. They're almost turning into influencers. Dustin Laguerre's and all them getting involved in the console wars that he hates so much. Because they don't know. You see them. They don't do their shows on IGN. They go on to Twitters and start their own little channels and get tons of views. because they think they legitimize themselves because they were on IGN or GameSpot. We don't need that stuff. We have reviewers. We have people like Randall Thor, ACG, the PlayStation podcast, the all those guys over at Jay Barry, Persona. Then you got Sick. We got us. Smooth plays games. Like we got everybody playing games. B-Rap. I call him B-Rap. Rap. I call him B-Rap. B-Rad. There's so many. Slow-mo. You just listed them. List them all. You got plenty of people that play games, and you could get reviews right from them. And there's tons of channels. And sorry if I missed everybody. I listen to everybody. But I value everybody's opinion to help me formulate my own. We don't need talking heads. We don't need script. We don't need writers. We don't need that stuff. Salty. Mooch. The list goes on. Even Crazy Next Gen. Awesome shows, man. I watch them all, man. I watch them all. DSP podcast. Those dudes. Like, yeah, I'm telling you, man. Everybody does it. Everybody, you have access to all this stuff. Sick. King Thrash. They're all, man. All you need to do is just search on YouTube and you'll find input of real people playing games. You don't need to watch a show with people reading scripts from writers that are hiding behind cameras. Or reviewers hiding behind websites and telling you just write this up. Here it is. We don't need time. Nobody has time for that. So, with that, I encourage you to go follow all those people and more. Because you want the advice from real gamers, people that play these games, people to get access to the stuff, and even if they just spend their own money or get it for free, it doesn't matter. But the fact is that it's coming from them, the people who experienced it, and that's the point. Who needs a writer? Who needs a talking head telling them like, well, that's what they said, and if I read it, they're gonna accept it. They're not gonna accept it, but if he reads it, they'll say okay. They're not gonna challenge him. They're gonna challenge me, dude. That's not good, and that's not a good way to get your channel try to be legitimized and be back and hold credibility. So, unfortunately, they did it. We'll see where it goes from there. But all you guys know, and girls, you know what to hit. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Join the Grindhouse. Gaming Grindhouse on Monday nights at 8:30. And if you want, be a VIP grinder because we got some cool emojis in the live chat. And we'll be doing more of these Grinds Gaming Bites. But I want to thank everybody for all their support. The true grinders out there and all the new members. Thank you again. And with that, I'm out.